Alrighty, so pre-market analysis. Let's start with GU. So on the weekly time frame, what happened is that I'm seeing once price give us that shock, it left an unmitigated supply. We mitigated it, swept some liquidity, and then engulfed and pushed lower. So I'm expecting price to potentially push lower and mitigate deeper into that weekly demand area. But of course, that's far away. So I just focus on immediate price action. Daily is bullish, internal is bullish, but as I said before, I was waiting for price to potentially pull back to that demand that we have. I mean, this is typically the extreme demand. The only unmitigated demand that we have has inducement, so at any moment can see price giving us a shock from here and continuing bullish. H4, H4 is bullish. We just had that swing boss. Internal is bearish. We shifted structure to the downside after the shock right there. Price is respecting supplies and pushing to the downside. I'm looking for price to potentially come to this demand area and then look for buys. But for now, my overall bias is bearish for following the internal structure till that demand. But once we had that push to the downside, right? If we had any confirmation, or if we get any confirmation on the medium time frame that we want to look for a pullback, then I can play that pullback till EQ. So that's exactly what happened. Medium time frame, we just had that boss. This is still our string structure, so at any moment the swing pullback could kick in, and we could have that deeper pullback and then continuation to the downside. This is our internal high right there, and that's our internal low after we got that shock yesterday. What happened is that price just kept on ranging, swept that liquidity right there, mitigated the extreme demand, gave us a shock, left us with an unmitigated unmitigated demand right there, right? And it gave us an LC1, like I love them. There, all right. And my entry was exactly around that level, right? So I was expecting potentially price to push to that supply, right? I mean, sure, it doesn't have inducement, but it has this kind of high that could be used as inducement. So I didn't want to risk it. So my target was on the edge of that high for 1 to 3.7, just giving us nearly 1 to 4. Why didn't I extend my target, although I could target potentially to this supply there? Well, thing is, I just didn't want to risk it. Why risk it when you have no clear target? Usually, when I want to extend my targets, it's pro-internal. When I have weak target or weak low or high to target, and I have a clear direction of where price want to break or where liquidity need to be taken from. So a weak high or a weak low, that would be my typical targets. But here we don't have clear target. At any moment that internal pullback could just finish and the continuation kick in, something like that, and then we get the IBOS and then we start pushing to the upside. So because the momentum was so strong to the downside, didn't want to risk it. So I just took my 1 to 3 to that supply, and I'm happy with that. I was happy with that. So yeah, beautiful trade. Price is pushing to the upside now. Looking for price to potentially come to one of these supplies and shift bearish. Although at any moment we can see that deeper pullback kick in and potentially mitigate one of these supplies, and then give us another internal shifting structure to push lower. So anything can happen. I really need to pay attention to the 15-minute and pay close attention to it, and try to only trade it, right? So yeah, basically that's my overall view on what price could do. I would say that the boss here, let me just fix that one, and the boss was there. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I would say that um, we have a strong medium time frame structure now. At any moment, we could see that potential push to the upside to mitigate deeper into some supply levels, right? Um, so yeah, that's overall the target. This phase was counter internal and counter swing as well, but um, it was, I think, in my opinion, a high probability setup. We mitigated deeper into demand and we just pushed higher, right? So in my opinion, this is a medium slash high probability setup. Swept liquidity that we formed all day and give us a chalk, leaving us with one and mitigated demand, followed by LC1. Beautiful trade. We have a lot of the risk reward to target to the upside. And yeah, so waiting to see more development and swing. At any moment, that pullback could kick in, getting us into price pushing into some sort of supply in premium and then continuing lower. Overall target would be that low right there. But let's start with targeting that demand, although it doesn't have any inducement, not strong. But let's start with targeting that one first, and then we'll see how it goes. So that's everything for GU. Let's start with the EU. Let's go through EU. Um, so EU, we just had that weekly internal boss. So at any moment we could see that pullback. Although I'm expecting price to push lower. Um, just judging it from the daily and H4. So daily, we had that boss, we had the chalk, that's true. So I expected price to push higher, but unfortunately we got another chalk to downside yesterday, so price is bearish now. And meaning that this chalk right there was just liquidation, so that's just liquidation for me. And now I'm ready to target that low right there. H4 swing is bearish, internal is bearish as well. We failed to close above that internal high, right? We kept on respecting supplies and breaking lows, so I'm expecting supply to still hold and price potentially reach that demand or break that weak internal low on the H4. 15-minute is bearish, swing high, swing low, yeah, swing low right there. Internal is far away, so we resetted our structure. That's what I did at least. And we just had our chalk right there. So that's the chalk. And 15 chalk. Where is it? Yeah, there. That would be our chalk. Right. And then we got the IBOS. So that's our IBOS. We could now reset structure if we want to. That would be our 15-minute IBOS. Now we're left with one extreme demand right there. Has a bit of inducement to it. Not really. I mean, these lows could be counted as inducement, but I wouldn't because they're not fractal lows. And yeah, so did we mitigate perhaps any, or I'll just call this as that. Just call it fractal structure. I'm not sure if we mitigated. Let me see if we mitigated deeper or the EU of the internal. We did. So yeah, we could see that push to the downside and then IBOS because this is a bit far away. But if we get price to push to the upside, we'll just treat it as internal, right? Follow phase C and then follow phase A once we get our IBOS. So yeah, our target would be much lower, potentially trying to break that low. And first target would be that demand. We have strong bearish momentum, so I'm not expecting really a big push to the upside. And yeah, so that's the pre-market analysis for GU and EU with that beautiful win that we just had. Beautiful things. Good week so far, very good week. So yeah, let's keep it going.